It's been quite a while since Bleach ended, yet I'd say its legacy still lives on. Now, I don't know about you, but I have to say the Zanpakutos are among the most striking elements in Bleach. Magical swords gifted with unique powers. I'd say that the concept of the Zanpakuto is one of the things that made Bleach the success that it was. With its long anime and various spin-off novels, Bleach has a lot to look back on. It may have fallen off a lot compared to its glory days, but it remained an exciting read for fans even as it ended, to the point where many people still clamour for the return of the anime, only to get a live-action movie that no one really wanted. It was even set to have a major announcement before the ill-fated timing of the worldwide virus epidemic cancelled numerous events in Japan, including the one with an upcoming Bleach announcement. Turns out that announcement was heaven for the fans. In addition to getting an animated adaptation of Burn the Witch, the next arc of the main series, the 1000-year Blood War arc, is going to be adapted into an anime. After almost a decade, Bleach is set to get an anime again. Rumors are that it would be airing in 2021, and that's a really long time away. 1 year is just too long for some people, which is why I instead take solace in playing video games featuring our favorite Shinigami. Enter the sponsor of this video, Bleach Immortal Soul. Bleach Immortal Soul is an officially licensed game that's being created under approval from the anime team behind the Bleach anime. You know what that entails? Voice acting fresh from the anime, so you can hear once again the trademark lines that you've grown to know and love. If you're someone who needs a review of the anime, Bleach Immortal Soul's got you covered. Collect and level up your favorite characters and lead them into battle as you relive some of the classic moments in the anime. Battles are fun and strategic, with deep emphasis on not just gacha luck and character strength, but also order of attack and team composition. Whether you'd breeze through the game or play it tough like Ichigo would, it's entirely up to you. Check out the link in the description to play Bleach Immortal Souls for free. So for today, we'll be taking a look at some of the coolest Zanpakutos in my opinion. No hard criteria for this, and I'm going to just rank them according to how interesting or impactful their dynamics are in the series. Now, without further ado, let's get started in our countdown of the top 10 Zanpakuto in Bleach. Take note that the majority of the list is going to be taking note of abilities and performances seen in the manga, so spoilers are ahead if you're one of those eagerly awaiting of the anime returning. Starting off the list, we have Nozarashi. Right off the bat, we have a spoiler Zanpakuto on the list. What is Nozarashi, you may ask? Why, it's our favorite Blood Knight and Battle Sage Kenpachi Zaraki Zanpakuto. Yes, in the final arc, Kenpachi finally released his Zanpakuto, and the lean, chipped sword that we have all grown to love gives way to a great axe, giving our already destructive captain even more raw power. In true Kenpachi fashion, Nozarashi retains its wielder's brute force gimmick, allowing him even more destructive capabilities, but that's not even getting to its Bankai form yet. In Bankai, Nozarashi pretty much turns Kenpachi into Bleach's version of Fate Stay Night's Berserker. Just look at that appearance and judge for yourself. Kenpachi is nigh unstoppable in this form, and he pretty much becomes a demonic herald of decimation in Bankai. Few Zanpakuto can match Nozarashi in terms of raw power, but in a world of creative ability such as Bleach, raw power ain't gonna cut it. Further up the list, we move on to something more familiar to those who have grown up on the anime, Zabi Maru. Who could forget Renji's signature whip sword that turns into a bony snake? Zabi Maru has been a mainstay in Bleach, and it came with an awesome debut episode during the Soul Society arc. Unfortunately, its Bankai form has since been power creeped, and overall, even with this supposedly powerful Bankai, Renji doesn't have the best win-loss record out there. Despite everything, Zabi Maru is still simple and pretty cool too. Much like a lot of the main characters Zanpakuto, Zabi Maru gets a much-needed upgrade in the final arc in the form of its true Bankai form. Now known as Soul Zabi Maru, Renji's true Bankai rests upon its wielder's body in a much cooler form. It also gives Renji nifty new attacks as well, such as an ability that allows Renji to fire spiritual blasts through energy-generated jaws. Coming up next is another Zanpakuto that you'd have actually seen and grown familiar with already thanks to the anime. Actually, more people know it for its Bankai form rather than its Shikai form, with how often it gets used in Bankai. I'm talking about Huyn Maru. The The sight of Hitsugaya and his ice dragon wings has been a fangirl dream since the peak years of Bleach. Daiguren Huyn Maru needs no introduction, and I think few Zanpakuto has the distinction of giving its wielder such an iconic change in form. In terms of ice powers, not a lot can match Hitsugaya and Huyn Maru, known as the strongest ice Zanpakuto. Huyn Maru grants Hitsugaya tons of flower-themed ice abilities that specialize mostly in direct offense, putting him in contrast with the series' other prominent ice wielder who specializes in area of effect combat. More on that later. Hitsugaya proves that training does pay off, and in the final arc of the manga, he unlocks Daiguren Huyn Maru's complete Bankai form, transforming him into Ichigo? Huyn Maru makes it there for the sheer cultural impact of its form. I don't think that there is a Zanpakuto transformation that's more recognizable than Daiguren Huyn Maru among the Bleach fandom. On the topic of Bankai releases, we have the Zanpakuto with the honor of the longest gap between its Shikai and Bankai reveal. This is Urahara's Benihime. It didn't take long for us to see Benihime's Shikai. Used by Urahara in the early arcs, Benihime functions similarly to Zangetsu in the sense that it fires beams. It can also be used defensively due to its ability to manifest a red shield. However, the most intriguing part about Benihime comes in Urahara's comment about its Bankai form not being fit to train others. Why is that so, you might be asking? After 600 chapters in the manga, we finally get our answer. It's not a Bankai primarily built for combat or training. In place of the usual physical or magical attacks that Bankai typically get, Benihime's Bankai form specializes in reconstruction. Befitting a genius creator like Urahara, the Bankai is able to reconstruct anything at the molecular level. So that means dissecting and stitching Urahara's injuries together and altering the enemy's properties. The best part about it, its effect isn't limited to combatants. Even the environment can become Urahara's weapon should he decide to reconstruct pathways with his Bankai. Bankai. Now at first glance, Ashisogi Jizo seems to be a Zanpakuto fitting for resident mad scientist Mayuri. To put it lightly, it looks disgusting and off-putting, a true reflection of its owner's sick and twisted personality. In the anime, Mayuri's used Ashisogi Jizo's Shikai form as a poison injector. More often, however, Mayuri uses his Zanpakuto in his Bankai form, a gigantic caterpillar bound to elicit some big-time nightmares. Yes. What if I tell you that it's not even its final form? Ashisogi Jizo's final Bankai form, as seen in the manga, takes the form of an even more grotesque baby that spits out clones of itself, tailor-made to counter whatever overpowered abilities Mayuri's opponents use. On the fly, Mayuri's Bankai can create a version of itself that acts as a hard counter. Counter Mayuri to create a Bankai that's the personification of his ability to counter everything given the chance and time to do so. Ryujin Jakka! One of the more awaited Bankais in the series is none other than the Captain Commanders. As such, Ryujin Jakka blazes its way to claiming the 5th spot on the list. Those manga readers who were curious as to what destructive capabilities Captain Yamamoto held didn't need to wait too long after the conclusion of the Fullbringer arc. Powering his way through Quincy's in his desperate bid to save Soul Society, Captain Commander Yamamoto unleashes his Ryujin Jakka's full potential with its Bankai. Zanka no Tachi, the Bankai, creates a blazing atmosphere upon casting, causing far-reaching effects akin to a drought for most people. In addition to the expected fiery powers, it also grants Yamamoto a protective armor of flames and the ability to reanimate the dead. Pretty much nothing can stand in the way of its sheer might. Zanka no Tachi's final move serves to incinerate and burn everything in its way to a crisp. Rounding out our pre-top 3 list is Byakuya Senbonzakura at 4th place. I don't know about you, but I think that the image of Byakuya using Senbonzakura is one of the most visually stunning attacks in Bleach. Breaking down into numerous cherry petals that swirl around and slice up his enemies, Senbonzakura has been a fan favorite of many, owing mostly to its unique flair and the popularity of its wielder. If swarming enemies isn't enough, Senbonzakura's Bankai form can also be converted into numerous forms of Byakuya, such as features a hall of swords and a spear of death. It even got a new mode in the final arc where he throws all Senkei swords in one go, focusing purely on offense. With Senbonzakura, death by 1,000 cuts never looked so cool before. The Kuchikis really have it down pat when it comes to kicking ass while looking as graceful as possible. Following her brother's footsteps, Rukia proudly takes her place as the owner of the number 3 Zanpakuto on the list. Fans of the anime would be familiar with Soren no Shirayuki for its cool and graceful modes known as dances. The first one creates an ice pillar around Rukia, while the second one allows her to fire off a freezing wave. The third dance, which allows her to manifest a blade of ice out of thin air, looks tame in comparison. Things get even more awesome in her manga-only Bankai form. Named Haka no Togami, Soren no Shirayuki's Bankai form releases a super AoE freezing field, causing everything around Rukia to freeze and subsequently crumble. Physical contact with Rukia at this point will even cause others to freeze due to how cold she really becomes. Rukia's Bankai appearance, making her look like a queen of ice, is just the finishing touch. She truly takes after her brother when it's all said and done.
Bankai 神死にの槍
Probably surprising a lot of you guys now, but the second place Zanpakuto for me is Shinsou. Shinsou is a simple Zanpakuto. At Gin's command, it extends. Pretty simple, and compared to all those colorful powers, it may not seem much. However, its true merit is in its Bankai. Its Bankai form, as revealed in the anime, has the ability to plant a part of itself into its target, causing the target to suffer cellular destruction at Gin's beck and call. It seems unassuming and melts down an enemy from within, something that seems to fit such a sly and venomous personality like Gin. It takes a lot to elicit a legit reaction of panic out of God Mode Aizen, but Gin did this with his Bankai's ability. All that bullshitting to Ichigo about its speed worked, and for once, the mastermind villain finally got outsmarted, albeit temporarily. Seriously, I don't know a way out of this. We know Bleach can just bypass fatalities and strong moves by throwing the Reiatsu explanation at us, but ass pulls and God modes aside, I don't think that anyone can survive Shinsou's Bankai ability. At the top of this list is an often overlooked Zanpakuto due to the level of exposure in the anime. There's just so little that the anime had a chance to give for our Captain Kyoraku and his twin sword Zanpakuto, Garten Kyokotsu. For someone with his status as a senior captain, he gets so little focus and is somewhat relegated to comic relief, with only serious battles featuring either his unreleased Zanpakuto or the Shikai, which you might remember to revolve around games. Well, his Bankai, as shown in the manga, takes a much more dramatic turn. Instead of forcing the opponent to play a game along with him, Shinsou forces his opponents to take part in what seems to be a gruesome reenactment of a play. Taking on a grim and heavy atmosphere, Kyoraku's Bankai acts in phases that show symbolism regarding his relationship with Nanao and the Issei family, but I'll stop right there in order not to spoil it any further. In classic fashion, the Bankai ends with a simple, clean execution. The delivery, the overall drama, and the revelations during the Bankai's debut remains one of the standout parts of the final Bleach arc in my opinion. And that's it. Honorable mentions go to some more fan favorites, notably Zangetsu, Sakanade, and Kyoka Sugetsu. However, given that even in the manga we didn't see much of those Zanpakuto's new powers, most notably given the joke about Ichigo only knowing how to throw Getsuga Tensho variations sadly sticking around and holding true, I decided that those Zanpakuto narrowly missed the cut. Perhaps the anime will add some scenes and give those swords more shine, especially given Bleach's tendency to run filler arcs and episodes. If this video isn't enough to satisfy your craving for more Bleach anime and manga, then I have the next best thing for you. Bleach Immortal Soul is now available to be downloaded for iOS and Android, and it's the closest you're going to get to experiencing the magic of Bleach once again. An exciting game that's bound to offer more and more content, possibly even reaching the manga arcs beyond what the anime aired. Soul Society is once again right at your fingertips. All you need to do is download Bleach Immortal Soul and return to Soul Society once again. Battle it out with your favorite characters, level them up, and go through tough bosses, and make sure to take part in the various events that the game has to offer. For those interested in playing the mobile game, you may redeem the code in the description below for an amazing kickoff price. Well, that's it for this edition of the lists. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and share this video if you enjoyed it. For now, we anticipate the return of the anime. 2021 can't come soon enough. Until next time.